Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the shed where we're here again with the KTM 390 Adventurer R. If you didn't watch my last episode, it didn't go too well on picking this bike up. From riding it from the dealership, which was only about 15 miles away, back here to the shed, we had some serious stalling issues. Oh, it stalled. And then it stalls again. And putting that video out opened a little can of worms with comments, which we're going to go through in a minute. And then we're going to take this bike out for another ride and decide whether this needs to go back to KTM. The first thing I thought I'd do is drain the fuel out the bike that it came with. And I'm going to replace it with some 99 octane fuel, just to see if that makes any difference. I'm pretty certain it's all about the mapping, and I've even checked the software update on this bike. So if we just go into the controls here, and I think we go down to into service, and there you go, we're running the 1V13, which I believe that is the latest update, so we are up to date on that side of things. Some people had said check the play in the clutch and also the adjustment on the levers, which I did, and they seem to be fine. And then add in some 99 octane fuel. Will this make a difference? And we've got the beautiful Amy B in this shed, boys, because she's going to read out a few of these comments and I'm going to give you a few of the answers.
Okay, so bike_guy says, the Fireman 1028 bought an Enduro R with the same flea mount issue. Seemed to solve it by installing a Fuel X Pro that allows fueling to be modified on the fly.
So the Fuel X, I've heard multiple things about it. It's something I'm not going to do at this point because it's not a me problem, it's a KTM problem, and I don't want to start messing around the ECU and voiding the warranty at this stage. But yeah, I've heard mixed reports about these Fuel X's. Some people say they work, some people say they're a bit overrated, and at the minute I wouldn't spend my money on it. But maybe something going down the line, we'll just see how that plans out. So yeah, I'm not going to bother with that just yet. Next question.
So Richard Brown 9344 says, a software update to ride a bike without it stalling. I have never heard anything so ridiculous in my life. Think I will stick to my Royal Enfield Bear. No software update required to keep this beauty running.
That's exactly correct, Richard. You wouldn't expect on a new bike to be doing software updates from the off, but I think what's happening is with these new compliances for the Euro emissions, I think we're on 5.2 with this bike. I think that's where the problems are coming in. So yeah, unfortunately on some bikes we are going to have software updates to change the mapping to get them through. What's next?
Jeff 9614, he says, I don't understand why would any dealer stroke bike shop release a new bike with an issue like that. Constant stalling, especially when you said, I'm sure it's an easy fix. I like the look of the bike, sounds nice, but now feel completely put off by that constant stalling. And how many times will you now have to take it back to get it sorted?
Interesting question, Jeff, and yes, you're right. How can they release this? Well, I'm guessing they just didn't do the miles on it, and I know they didn't because there's a couple of kilometres on there, I guess, where they take it round the block, and maybe in that couple of kilometres it didn't stall, I don't know. But it certainly did for me, and this is what I'm bringing to the channel, is transparency with this bike. So if it has put you off, then, you know, stick around, we're going to get it sorted. We'll find out what it rides like today, and then we'll get this bike back to KTM and find out what's going off once and for all.
So Chev Green 1960 says, you did make a mistake. It's EICMA in 6 days. So many great bikes. Himalayan Rally, Aprilia 457, etc.
Yeah, you're right. We was going to go to EICMA this year, and it's a little bit too close to the NEC. So we're not going to bother. We'll be seen at the NEC this year. So yeah, you're correct. There is some nice bikes coming out, but I'm too impatient. I saw this at the NEC last year and it's took nearly 12 months to get my hands on one. So anything coming out, you don't know when they're going to be coming to the market, and who knows, I might even just buy another one.
Okay, so Frilled Neck Dragon UK says, I hear you're aware of the issues, but for just shy of 7k and bike behaving like that, my heart would sink. Stalling while bombing down a road is wild and dangerous. I'd have no confidence. You're really forgiving, and it's obvious you're really chuffed with your new bike, but most people would be pretty shattered in all fairness. I'm actually wondering whether to pull the trigger on an X version, but gonna hold off and see where the dust settles. Useless to me like that. Hope they fix your new bike sooner than later.
Yes, I agree. It is very disconcerting, especially when I went to pick the bike up and you're going through the city centre of Nottingham. It's quite busy. You've got trucks behind you. The bike cuts out. For I guess a newer rider, it can be very, very dangerous. You know, you get on the clutch, you restart the bike and you keep them wheels turning rather than come to a stop. But yes, you're right. Am I gutted? Not really, but I'm quite lucky because I've got a few bikes and I don't commute on bikes as well, so I don't need it to be running perfectly. But I totally get where you're coming from. If somebody's splashed out their life savings on this and they've been looking forward to it, it can be disheartening. But like I said, we will get to the bottom of this. Have we got any more?
We have. So Mike Island 7382 says, best bike out there for mounting luggage on with that exhaust system.
Yes, Mike, and I think you are correct, and that was one of the reasons I did like it as well. We've already got the bolts there to attach the rack in, and yes, we've got a low down exhaust, which a few people were concerned with when it first launched like this, but yeah, that is absolutely perfect. So it's completely away from the luggage. I think that's a nice setup. So we've got some positivity, Amy B.
Yes, from Mike.
From Mike. Cheers, Mike. Right, let's do one more, and then we'll take this bike out.
Okay, so Peter Mosley 6192 would like to know, Simon, do you have an A2 licence? Just wondering why a 390?
So Peter, what I'm finding as I'm getting a bit older, I've done a lot of the big bikes and I still do enjoy riding them without a doubt, but these smaller engine capacity bikes, especially the dual sport ones, have been fantastic fun. If you follow the channel, you probably know I've also got a Himalayan 450, which I've taken all over the place. We've had some great fun on that bike, and it is a bit more of a winter bike. I'll be honest, I don't actually want to keep this bike probably more than a year anyway, which would probably sound crazy to a lot of you, but I just want something to run alongside the Himalayan 450, perhaps even get my dad on the 450 and get me on this, and we can do a swap over and get some mates to come and ride out of me, rather than putting it against, I don't know, a new Ducati Desert X Rally, which again are superb bikes, but this one is going to get bashed. It will get crashed if we can stop it stalling. Right, I guess it's the moment of truth. Let's get the bike fired up. And like I said, it's not had a problem firing up. We'll just let it warm up for a minute or two, and then we'll just give it a few light revs. Like I say, the bike's brand new. It's only done 17 miles up to now, so So we've just set off, and so far so good. It's not stalled, which is an improvement on last time because I didn't even make it about 100 yards. So we just go down the gearbox as we're coming into that kind of first roundabout, drop it into first gear. So it's going to be a relatively short run for me today, about a 20-mile kind of loop from where I live. And I didn't really want to bring Amy out with me today because just in case it stalls and something's behind us and things go wrong, I don't want to be responsible for carrying a pillion until I know this bike's running correctly. But so far so good. And just for clarification, I'm also running this at the minute in off-road mode. I think that's supposed to have a little bit more oomph than the street mode. But to be fair, when I rode it last time, the stalling issue was more when you're at the lower speeds. That's where it seemed to have cut out. If you're kind of in the wrong gear and you pull the clutch in, but we'll just test that in a minute. So, lots of traffic lights coming up. Let's pull the clutch in. We'll just let it freewheel. And it didn't cut out. I find that just absolutely bonkers. What we'll do, we'll just get on a few of the twisters, and then we'll try and cut it out. Basically, we'll try and make it stall like it was before. But that'd be absolutely nuts if it's just putting that higher octane fuel in that seemed to have corrected it, which wouldn't be a good thing, because you can't always get that fuel at all the stations. Got another set of red lights. Let's do the same, just let it freewheel a little bit. Just give it a few revs. I'll drop it into neutral. Wow. Well, I don't know, guys. I don't know what to say. It's early days. We're only 2 miles into it. At the minute, I'm just trying to kind of ride it badly, if you know what I mean. Yeah, there you go. Clutch was fully in. The bike has stalled. We'll start it up again. I mean, luckily I was checking the rear view mirror, making sure there's nothing behind. So that's not good news. We'll try and do that again. Clutch fully in. Yeah, it's gone again. Clutch fully in. When you're revving, especially when you're in the higher gears, it doesn't want to know. It's dropping out. And that's the disconcerting bit for me, really. If you make a mistake, it could be costly. And I don't care what anybody says. I've ridden over 100 motorcycles. I've never had a bike that's done this. I've never had a bike that's stalled on me without being my own fault. When I get up here, I'll just pull over and we'll do some slow manoeuvre stuff, because that's going to be the problem really when you're doing the off-road stuff. And I didn't fancy taking this bike off-road yet, because if it stalls and I drop it and I damage it, I'm a bit screwed. So certainly don't want this to be consistently negative views on this bike, because as I'm sat on the bike now, the bike feels great. It feels so light, it feels manageable. On the open road, if you want a dual sport bike that's got a bit of go in it as well, as soon as you get up to into them kind of 5,000 RPM, this bike really wants to shift. But like, because I'm running it in, I'm not really going above that, to be honest. As much as it's a windy day, the screen on it is pretty good. It gives you adequate wind protection. Certainly a lot better than my Himalayan 450. Also, the nice thing about these bikes as well, which if you want to go and do a bit of winter green laning, which I'm going to, let's just pull over here so we can just have a little look. Just do some low speed stuff. Yeah, it seems to be when you pull that clutch in, and I've checked the clutch adjustment as well, it's absolutely fine. As the boys are out on the bikes. Come on guys, I mean, you pull the clutch in, you give it a few revs, it should never do that. It seems to fire up, easy off the button, restarts. Ticks over nice. I'll jump back on it again. I'll just show you, let's go for it once more. Click it into first gear, pull the clutch in, give it a few revs. So it's not doing it now.
Anyway, let's crack on.
Even with a few teething issues, the 390 Adventurer R has got some character. It feels light and it feels agile, and it feels like it wants to tackle anything.
Yeah, definitely don't seem to be stalling like it was the first ride. Maybe it just needed more miles on it, settle it down. Maybe it was the 99 octane fuel. I think what I'm going to do, like I said, this is just a short video. I'm dying to do a proper riding review on this bike, but we do need it sorting out. I'm going to clock some miles up on it and see what happens, and then we'll get some upgrades done on the bike. We'll get that first service done and we'll just take it from there. So as always, I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and we will shed some light, and like I said, on this minor issue. And don't forget, if you ain't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Give us a like, and I'll see you in the next one.